This video lecture presents the process of conducting a literature review in a research work. The contents of the video lecture are: what are literature reviews, why are literature reviews necessary, how to write a literature survey, and the summary. To start with the topic, what are literature reviews? A literature review is a survey of scholarly sources on a specific research topic. The literature reviews provide an overview of current knowledge, allowing the scholar to identify relevant theories, methods, and research gaps in the chosen research topic. A good literature review is the one which do not simply summarizes the various sources. A good literature review analyzes, synthesizes, and critically evaluates to give a clear picture of the state-of-the-art knowledge on the research topic. Now we shall consider the next topic, namely, why are literature reviews necessary? Literature reviews give an overview of the research topic, giving its theoretical background. Researchers use literature reviews to identify the research gaps in existing knowledge and to set the context for their research studies. Writing a literature review can enable the researchers to demonstrate what they have learned about a research topic and develop their own connecting ideas within that topic. Now let us consider the prime topic of this presentation, namely how to write a literature survey. The process of designing the review of literature consists of a pre-processing step, namely selecting a research topic. The actual process consists of 4 steps, namely searching for the research literature that has been published in the research area, managing and organizing the research literature, summarizing and synthesizing the research literature, writing an assessment review. After the 4 key steps, there is one more step called refining and reworking on the assessment review, which can be considered as a post-process work. If the scholar is satisfied with the assessment review, then he can complete the review of literature and go to the next phase of his research work. If the scholar is not satisfied with the assessment review, then the scholar has to repeat the 4 key steps again and again until the scholar is satisfied with the assessment review. Now let us consider the pre-processing step called selecting a research topic. The researcher needs to clearly define the research topic. The factors affecting the choice of the research topic include interest and expertise level of the scholar, current trends in the domain, and relevance of the research work. The first step of designing the review of literature is searching for the literature. This step has got 4 sub-steps, namely make a list of keywords, search for relevant sources, evaluate the selected sources, and identify the most important publications. Consider the sub-step of make a list of keywords. In this sub-step, the researcher can create a list of keywords related to the chosen research topic. This list can be updated continuously in the process of the literature search if the researcher discovers new keywords. In the sub-step search for relevant sources, the researcher can start searching for sources using the list of keywords. Various research databases can be used to search for the articles. The various research databases include Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, Education Resources Information Center, IEEE Explorer, Science Direct, Directory of Open Access Journals, and JSTOR. Consider the sub-step of evaluate the selected sources. The scholar should ask the following questions in order to evaluate the sources those were encountered by the research scholar. What problem is addressed by the authors? What are the key concepts, theories, models, and methods presented? Does the research use established models, methods, frameworks, or take an innovative approach? What are the results and conclusions of the study? Does it conform or contribute or challenge the established knowledge? What are its key insights and arguments? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research? The answers for all these questions will help the scholar to evaluate each source that is encountered by the research scholar. The final sub-step in searching for the literature is identify the most important publications. Recurring citations will help the scholar to determine the important publications. Base papers are published articles presenting a comprehension of the research work that the scholar has chosen. At the end of the first step, searching for the literature, the scholar will identify the base papers of his or her research. The second step in designing the review of literature is managing and organizing the literature. The researcher needs to understand the connections and relationships between the sources selected for reading. The researcher can design the structure of literature review by connecting concepts, ideas from various sources. Managing and organizing the literature contains 4 approaches. They are chronological, thematic, methodological, and theoretical. These 4 approaches help the research scholar to outline his or her literature review's structure. The chronological approach is to present the developments of the topics over time. If the scholar chooses this simple strategy, the scholar should avoid simply listing and summarizing the sources in chronological order. The scholar should analyze the patterns, turning points, and key arguments that have shaped the research direction of the field. The scholar should interpret how and why certain developments have occurred. In the thematic approach, if the scholar have found some recurring central themes, the scholar can organize the literature review into subsections that address different aspects of the topic. In methodological approach, the scholar should compare the results and conclusions that emerge from different approaches. The scholar should discuss how the topic has been approached by empirical versus theoretical approaches. In the theoretical approach, the scholar can use it to discuss various theories, models, and definitions of key concepts. A literature review is often the foundation of a theoretical framework. The scholar can highlight the relevance of a specific theoretical approach or combine various theoretical concepts to create a framework for his or her research work. The third step in designing the review of literature is summarizing and synthesizing the research literature. This step is further subdivided into 3 important sections, namely introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction should clearly establish the focus and purpose of the literature review. The scholar should give some background on the topic and its importance, discuss the scope of the literature that the scholar will review. The scholar should state the objective of the study of literature review. The scholar should highlight the new insights drawn from the review of literature. The scholar should divide the body of the review of literature into subsections. The scholar can follow 3 sub-steps in the step of summarizing and synthesizing the research literature, namely analyzing and interpreting, summarizing and synthesizing, and critical evaluation. A critical survey is the one that attempts to evaluate and interpret all the research works chosen for study. The scholar should give an overview of each source and combine them into sections with coherent of ideas. The scholar should not paraphrase other researchers. The scholar should add his or her own interpretation wherever is possible, discussing the significance of findings in relation to the literature as a whole. The scholar should critically evaluate all the research works and highlight the merits and demerits of each research work. The body can be developed using well-structured paragraphs. The scholar should bridge the paragraphs so that there is a flow of concepts. The scholar should provide comparisons by analyzing the merits and demerits of each research work. In the conclusion, the scholar should summarize the key findings taken from the literature and emphasize the significance of the findings. The scholar can discuss the overall implications of the research works on the domain of the knowledge. The scholar can present the suggestions for future research based on the research gaps identified. The fourth step in designing the literature review is writing an assessment review. In this step, the scholar writes the assessment review. After completing the writing of the literature review, the scholar should review the write-up. The scholar should elaborate the literature review to other experts in the domain so that more clarity in the review process is accomplished. Coming to the post-process step called refining and reworking on the assessment review. Based on the assessment review, if the scholar is satisfied, then there is no room for further improvement. Then the scholar can complete the process of review of literature, and then he or she can proceed to the next phase of his or her research work. If the scholar is not satisfied, then the scholar can iterate the 4 steps again and again until he or she is satisfied. To summarize, this video lecture presents a methodology for designing a review of literature. The methodology consists of one pre-process step, namely selecting a research topic. Then, designing of review of literature consists of 4 key steps, namely searching for the research literature that has been published in the research area, managing and organizing the research literature, summarizing and synthesizing the research literature, and then writing an assessment review. The process also has got a post-process step called refining and reworking on the assessment review. If the scholar is satisfied with the assessment review, then the scholar can proceed to the next phase of his or her research work. If the scholar is not satisfied with the assessment review, then the scholar has to repeat the 4 key steps again and again until the scholar is satisfied with the assessment review. Thank you.